think that actually is a great segue to the next question that's on the screen from VL, who
Oh,
says,
that's Steve.
how can I escape the never-ending trials in my life? I have a feeling that's going to play in there with Mother Teresa.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, VL, if you asked people, that prosecutor out in that case with that Dr. Murdaugh, or I think he's a doctor, isn't he? Something, kept asking questions that he didn't know the answer to. And he kept getting the wrong answers. And by golly, that prosecutor may have lost his case, and that guy might go, maybe he should go, free. Maybe he didn't do it. But that prosecutor did a lousy job because he kept asking questions that he didn't know the answer to. So, VL, you've asked a question, so I'm going to give you the answer. In complete charity, by the way. Don't. I'm not being mean-spirited about this at all. How can I escape the never-ending trials in my life? The question is, well, why would you want to? There's a great saint that said, don't ask for an easy life. Ask for the strength to go forward in the tough life you have. I'm paraphrasing it, but that's pretty much what it is. It calls to mind Simon of Cyrene. And as I've said many times, Jesus did not need Simon of Cyrene to help him carry that cross. The Son of God who created the universe could have just said, okay, cross, just kind of elevate just ever so slightly off my back, and I'll just act like I'm having a tough time here. Or he could have had a holy angel come and lift it imperceptibly off his back. But no, along comes Simon of Cyrene, pressed into service. Why? Each one of us should be pressed into service to help another carry their cross. And if you don't have crosses to carry, then I guess I can't serve God by being your Simon of Cyrene. So by not carrying your cross, by refusing to carry your cross, by saying, well, I don't want this trial, or I don't want that trial, I don't want all these many trials, you're denying someone the opportunity to be Simon of Cyrene to you, which they might need to do to help them along in their journey of faith. So, but also, okay, let's just say Jose Luis Sanchez del Rio. What? I don't have it right now. I'm making a bunch of holy cards like that big card I read from at the beginning, with him just before he literally was executed. He had been walking through the streets with his feet sliced up. They were cutting with machetes. He was groaning in agony. They kept harassing him. Just renounce Christ, renounce Christ. And he refused to do it. I will never do that. Viva Cristo Rey. And then he got to the site of where the grave was dug. He's standing next to his grave. Just look at that movie, For Greater Glory. Everybody should see that, and not just once. And there he is. And then they start stabbing him with their bayonets. This little 14-year-old boy. And he wouldn't die. So finally, the captain of the guards got so fed up, he took out his gun and shot him, right? I think he shot him in the head. And he fell to the ground, and he traced a cross in his own blood. And then he died. So this goes to anybody who would ask the question, how can I escape the never-ending trials in my life? Why would you want to? Why would you deny another person the opportunity to help you carry the cross or this trial? Can you really claim to have as many trials as St. Jose Luis Sanchez del Rio? And also St. Paul. I think it's in either 1 Corinthians 11 or 2 Corinthians 11. He goes through that laundry list. There's St. Paul, who gets martyred in the end. I love that line, the time of my dissolution is near. I think that's in 2 Timothy maybe, or 2 Thessalonians. And I mean, he was shipwrecked. He was hungry. He was beaten with rods. He was scourged. He was stoned to the point they actually thought he was dead. This wasn't just a few rocks thrown at him. They literally left him for dead. And he got up the next day and went back into town. So I don't know. Do we not want to attain to heaven? Do we not want to? If God has given you, was it St. Teresa of Calcutta put it that he gives his greatest crosses to those he loves most? Or maybe it was St. Teresa of Avila said it. So I'm not picking on you, but you've asked the wrong question, or else you asked the right question and got the right answer, maybe. I could say that. Like, why, Lord? I mean, I've tried to serve you. Cross seems a little heavy on occasion. Here's how you do it. Is instead of looking at it like a cross, say, thank you, Lord, for this trial. Say, thank you, Lord, for this suffering, for this physical pain. I thank you, Lord, and let me offer it up. For this spiritual pain, I thank you, Lord. And I had to learn the hard way, mind you. And I haven't fully learned the lesson yet. It takes practice every day. But you're supposed to say, thank you. And here's what will happen. The pain, the trial, they'll go away. Life will continue in that way. But what will happen is you will have joy greater than the pain. And a way to envision it in a very gospel way is to go kneel next to the post where Jesus is being scourged. And envision yourself being tied to the scourging pole next to him, the pillar. And watch as each blow lands, as the agony in his face when it happens, because his human body felt every blow. And look into his face and let him look back into your eyes and hear him say to you that I do this because I love you. And then say to Jesus, Lord, let me take one for you. And when you look at every trial that you face, every suffering, physical and spiritual, and say, thank you, Lord, for by accepting it and saying thank you, you literally are being Simon of Cyrene for Jesus. And you're letting others see you help carry the cross. It is a testament to your own faith when you say thank you. And then the joy, as I said, the joy that comes. I mean, I would just as soon not have to have the trial. You know, life is simple. If I were sitting at the beach, but that's not what God calls us to. And it doesn't matter how bad it is in our life. Remember, who's that guy? He was outside the gate of Dives, rich man Dives, poor man Lazarus. He's in heaven at the end, right? In the parable that Jesus himself taught. And he said, Lazarus had bad things in his life. How bad was it? Because he's sitting out there, no food to eat, and a dog is licking his wounds. That's disgusting. But as to a little kid, that image was horrific. But then the beauty is, Jesus said through Abraham in this parable, Lazarus had bad things in this life, but look where he is now. Right? So comes right back to the first question I asked then. Well, why would you want less? No, say thank you. And just keep saying it. You repeat it several times. It's going to sound ridiculous at the start, but just keep saying thank you. And in the end, I've got news for you and everybody else. We're all going to die. And it's probably not going to be pleasant. But we say thank you. Thank you, Lord. And joy comes. So there's my answer.